Welcome back. Now we get to do something really fun, which is actually mine our first coins. However, there is one problem we need to address first, and that is the fact that in order to mine, you need at least one other connection to the network. And because the only copy of our coin exists on our VM, there is no network. So one way or another, we need another machine to connect to. There are a couple ways of doing this. One of the more obvious ways is if you actually have a spare computer lying around, you can set up your coin on that and connect to it. The second way is using a VPS, a virtual private server. Now this option is very attractive if you plan to release your coin for other people to use, or you want to set up a mining pool or block explorer in the future, which by the way I will be going over in future videos. If you want to use the VPS, they really don't get any better than DigitalOcean. I will put a referral link in the description that you can use. You get about $20 worth of credit. It should be enough to run a VM that's, or not a VM, a VPS thing that's good enough for this for about a month. Of course, it's probably still going to want your credit card information. And the third way, and the way that most of you are going to want to use, the one that I'm going to be doing in this video, because it's free, is by using another VM as our second machine. So let's get started. So first I'm going to do is go to the VM that we've been using. I've been using Ubuntu C. So I'm going to right click it, go to settings, go to network, and attach it to a bridged adapter. Okay, and for this, make sure the name is your actual network adapter. Like for example, I have LogMeIn on my computer, and if I were to set it to this, it would not work. So make sure it's your real adapter, and press OK. And now right click, clone, name it anything you like. Also make sure you tick this box. This is very important. Next, make it a linked clone, because it's just really quick. Clone, and huzzah, I made a clone. So I'm going to actually start the clone right now. And real quick, I'm going to go back to my main machine and change the amount of processors it has, because that will speed up the rate at which I find blocks. And, this is completely optional. I just want to find blocks quickly. So if you have the processor cores to spare, it's not a bad idea to increase this. I'm going to give it 4, which is actually a lot. So 4 processors, okay. And I'm going to start this one. And hopefully the clone is doing good in terms of its boot process, so I don't have to wait too long to do everything else. So clone is moving along quite nicely. And once this is done, we're going to create configuration files for our coin that tell the clients to connect to each other, because otherwise they wouldn't know they existed. So we need to tell them manually to connect to each other. And with any luck, this will hurry up so we can get started. Just how's the main one coming along? The main one's doing good. Okay. So we're going to start by going back to the data directory of our coin, which, if you will recall, is in your home folder. It's a hidden file. Control H will reveal it. So .yourcoin.funcoin for me. Here we go. And we're going to, well, first, this is actually pretty important. We're going to delete everything in here, because otherwise, if we didn't do this, we run the risk of actually having the same wallet as our original machine, because of how the cryptographic stuff in this works, and that would not be good. I mean, deleting the whole directory is a little overkill, but better safe than sorry. And we're going to go create a new document in here. We're going to call it yourcoin.conf. I'm going to make mine funcoin.conf because mine is named funcoin. Yeah, it actually needs to have whatever the name of your coin is .conf in all lowercase. It's pretty important. Open it up, and since this one finished booting first, I'm going to make it a server. So server equals 1, RPC user equals user, RPC password equals password, and that's it. Save it. These user credentials over here, we're actually not going to be using them ourselves. We only need them because we're operating in server mode. It'll just make the client happy. So make the client happy, put in the stuff. You can close that now. And now the main VM should be all fired up. It is. And now we go into the data directory of this one. And we're going to do something very similar. We don't have to delete all this. funcoin.conf. And we don't need to make this one a server. However, we are going to add the IP address of the other VM. So we do that by doing add node equals, and I know the IP address is going to start with 192.168.0, and there's an, oh look, a comma, .16, that's a 5. Wow, I'm really bad at this today. 168.0, and there's a 99% chance that's going to be the case for you guys too. So I go to the clone, and I click this little thing up here, go to connection information, and I get the IP address, which is 192.168.0.18. So I just add the .18 to the original, like that, and then I can save. So now we can fire up our clients. We're going to do this in testnet mode first, because that's kind of what testnet's for. So I want the server to start. This is not the server one. There we are. This is the clone. And I want to get to the terminal. Navigate to your coin and launch it. Remember the testnet flag. Alright, and now the server is starting up. Excellent. And yeah, because it's actually been 2 hours since I mined my Genesis block, there's going to be a little loading thing here, and if you waited a while, it's going to be here for you too. Don't worry, this is completely fine. This just means that there hasn't been a block since the Genesis block, and because 2 hours is a pretty long time in terms of block intervals, the client thinks that it needs to synchronize. But when we mine it, it'll go away. So let's go back to the main VM and start it up. Okay. Testnet. And here we are. So it connected immediately, which is the advantage of doing this in the debug file. Also notice that there might be a little bug over here where it'll say it has more than one active connection, and that has to do with like some weird echo it gets in the virtual network. You only actually have one connection. But yeah, the same little loading thing over here. And because this VM has more CPU cores, I'm going to use this one to mine. So the moment we've all been waiting for, let's mine. This version of Litecoin does have a built-in CPU miner. You can access it by going to the debug window. You go to help up here, debug window, console, and if you type in help, you'll get a list of all the commands. We're going to be using this one right here, which will start the built-in miner. So you use it by doing set generate true, and true just means you want to mine. There is another optional flag, and that is the amount of CPU cores you want to use. If you don't put anything in there, it'll just use the maximum available, which is what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to press enter, and now I'm mining. So, and now it's just the waiting game, really. Hopefully it'll find the block quickly enough so that I don't have to cut the video. Well, I got lucky. It found one right away. So if I were to close this, you'd see that I have an immature balance of 20 fun. Fun indeed. Right. But yeah, it's all synchronized now. It's all happy. But yeah, if you do go a while without mining, this little bar will sit here until a block is found, because all the clients think that they need to synchronize with the network, when in reality the network is stagnant. So once you find a block, everything will be all happy. Now if I were to go over to the clone, I would see that it too is all happy because it sees the other block on the network. I can see over here that it sees the one block too. And now we can, so this obviously works. Oh, and it found another block. You can see the second block on the clone. If I were to go back to the main one, so yeah, now I have 40 fun. And because that's done, I'm going to stop the miner. Do that by doing set generate false, stop mining. And now we're going to do the mainnet. It's the same exact thing, really. So just close it. And going over to the clone now. We're going to close that one too. Yep, see, the connection is no longer there. And if you did forget the immature balance that we saw earlier, that will be spendable after the maturation time we specified in the last video. So for me, that will be 30 blocks. But anyway, we're going to launch the mainnet now. So same thing, no flag. We'll get all the mainnet graphics. And it's 2 hours behind because the mainnet, no other mainnet blocks have been mined yet. So I go on over to the main VM. Same thing. And yep, they see each other again. So with no delay, I can start mining again. Let's see if I'll get lucky again. It'll find find a block immediately. Maybe not as quick, but yep, you can use the get mining info command, and it'll tell you everything that's going on. Oh, I did find another block. You can see the bare minimum difficulty here. No errors, always good. Generate true. The generation proclamation, this is the amount of threads that's being used. Since I didn't specify a number, it's just -1. And your hashes per second. So here we go. I already found 40 fun. This must be my lucky day. And yeah, eventually when I do find 288 blocks of fun, the difficulty will retarget, and the difficulty is new difficulty is calculated based off of how quickly those previous blocks were found. So for example, if I found the next 288 blocks over the course of one day, which is my retarget period that I specified earlier, the difficulty is not going to change. However, if I found them over the course of an hour, the difficulty is going to go up. If I found them over the course of 2 days, it would usually go down, but I'm at the bare minimum difficulty, so it's not going to go any lower. I think you get the point. And just to check, we can see over here at the clone that it sees everything. It's all set. And when you do mine enough blocks for you to have a mature balance, you can go ahead, go to the receiving tab over here. You can copy this address to the other VM in any way you like, and you can send a transaction. I guarantee you it will work if you enter the address in right. And you can play with it all you want. So yay! We have a working coin. How exciting! Well, the next two videos are going to deal in the release process for this coin. Video 5 is going to cover preparation, which includes getting your graphics together, setting up your checkpoints, and actually getting a GitHub repository ready, because you're going to need that, believe it or not. And video 6 will cover the Windows cross-compilation, which is by quite a long shot the hardest part of the whole thing, so fun times ahead. Anyway, let's go back over here to the main one, see if it's fun anymore. Yeah, 80 fun! This is fun! It's fun. It is, though. Okay. Yep, I'm going to wrap it up. So have fun playing with your coin to your heart's desire. Oh, and one more thing. If you do want to, I don't know, give this to a friend in its current state, they're going to need to actually set up a VM and go through the whole compilation process. But you're also going to need to make sure that the peer-to-peer port is open on your network for them to connect to it. Or you actually don't have to worry about that if you're using a VPS. But at any rate, I will see you in video 5.